We saw President Trump when he was in Asia speak with his allies, talking about maximum pressure on North Korea. So what might these new sanctions look like?
Well, it's hard to know. He didn't specify after his phone call with the Chinese president, saying only that they would be major. Obviously, if they came from the Chinese side, they would have more of an impact because China is the largest trading partner with North Korea. In the past, these sanctions haven't amounted to much. I mean, we keep seeing impositions of sanctions, both from the UN and the U.S., but they seem to have had limited effect so far. One thing that one area it might be coming from, we heard from the State Department, that interdiction of ships at sea may be another attempt for a pressure point on North Korea.
So what options are available to the U.S., especially in the light of North Korea launching another intercontinental ballistic missile on Wednesday?
That's right. That missile test obviously is part of the reason for the response. President Trump, right after the test, said that we'll take care of this. There will be something. Yet again, these sanctions haven't really done a lot. But there's not a lot of other things the U.S. can do. The U.S. has been reluctant to start talks. There was some indication from Secretary of State Tillerson that the U.S. might be willing to do that, but then President Trump sort of said, no, we're not going to talk at this point. And obviously, military action, while hinted at by the president, is really, really a tough step to take, given that South Korea and Japan have major population centers nearby that would be seriously affected by any military action. So that doesn't seem to be in the cards at this point. So there's really not a lot of options the U.S. has. These continued talk about sanctions continue to be the response whenever there's a missile test or any action by North Korea. They come back with sanctions,
right,
and it just ratchets it up.
It does. It's just stronger and stronger rhetoric. Any indication, Jodi, on what China might do?
Well, China has been an interesting player in all this, obviously. They have supported some of the UN efforts, but they have been reluctant to take the step of cutting off oil imports to North Korea, which, of course, would be huge. And there's no indication they would do that. China and Russia at this point have continued to say, let's have talks. China said that again after yesterday's action by North Korea. So at this point, it doesn't look like there will be a serious action by China to cut off those oil imports.